Hello guys, so in this video we're going to be tackling simultaneous equations. So we're going to be forming simultaneous equations from word problems. I want for you guys to know that there are three ways of solving simultaneous equations. You can solve simultaneous equations using substitution, elimination, and graphically. But in this video I'm going to be solving using the elimination method, and in the next two upcoming videos I'm going to be solving using substitution and using the graphical method. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. So this here is a question from the Bgcse 2010 paper 3 maths. So we're going to go through the question together so we can begin. So here this is question 8 from the paper. It begins as: the cost of hiring a table is px and the cost of hiring a chair is py. A customer hires 20 tables and 150 chairs. Expressed in terms of x and or y, the cost in Bula of hiring 20 tables. So if one table costs x Bula and you have 20 tables, what is going to be the cost? So you would have the number of tables multiplied by the unit cost, which is x, right? So as we move on to the next one, it says the cost for hiring 150 chairs. You still do the same thing. It's the number of chairs multiplied by the unit price. And then the follow-up question says write down an expression in terms of x and y for the total cost of hiring 20 tables and 150 chairs. And if you remember from the previous video, I told you that when you meet words like total, they are usually referring to addition and summation. So the total cost would be 20x plus 150y, right? Okay. And then the follow-up question says the customer pays a total of 837 Bula 50 for the tables and the chairs. Write down an equation in x and y to show this information. Since it's an equation, you're expected to have an equal sign, so it's going to be 20x plus 150y is going to be equals to the total. So when doing simultaneous equations or when forming equations, I don't usually advise that you include the units, because the units can end up confusing you. You can mix them up with the variables. So you just write the numbers only. I think that will make it easier for you guys. So the next question says, on another occasion, the customer hires 25 tables and 100 chairs for 850 Bula. Write down an equation in x and y for this information. So a customer hired 25 tables and the unit cost for a table is x plus 100 chairs and the unit cost is y. This has to be equal to 850 Bula. So this would be the equation. Part D says solve simultaneously the equations in part B Roman figure 2 and C. So for that, let's just write down the equation that we had previously formed. You have 20x plus 150y is equals to 837 Bula 57. This is equation 1. And then the second equation that we had formed in part C was 25x plus 100y is equals to 850. So with these two equations, we can simplify them. We can divide across them by 5 so that we work with smaller numbers. So if we divide across by 5, divide across by 5, divide across by 5, even for this other equation, just so that you get small numbers. Get this t this is still equation 1, just a simplified version. And then to the next side, minus 117. This is equation 2. So then you can now move on to line up your equations, so I like to call it. Just lining them up. So 5x. Yes, so these are our two equations. You have equation 1 and equation 2. So we're going to be solving these two equations using the elimination method. So as the name implies, you'd have to pick a variable that you're going to eliminate. So in this example, we're just going to pick x. We'll eliminate the x's. So for us to eliminate the x's, we'd have to take the coefficient of x in the second equation, right, and use it to multiply the first equation. For the first equation, you take the coefficient of x and use it to multiply the second equation, right? So with that, you have 20 times 4x, 5 times 4x, which is equals to 20x, and then you have 5 times 30. 5 times 30 is equals to 150y. We have 167.5 multiplied by 5 is equals to 837.5. And then the second one, 4 times 5 is going to give you 20x, and then 4 times 20 is going to give you 80, and then 4 times 1 times 170 is going to give you 608. And then if in this case here you see that the signs or the coefficient of the variable that you're trying to eliminate, in this case which is x, are positive or they have the same sign, they can either be both positive or be both negative, then you move on to subtract, right? So you're gonna have 20 minus 20 is equals to 0. So this x's have been eliminated, hence the method elimination. And then you have 150 minus 80 equals to 70y, and then you have 837.5 minus 680 is equals to 157.5. Then you divide across by 70, so you have your y. 157.5 divided by 70 is equals to 2.25, right? And then now since you know one variable, which is y is equal to 2.25, you just get back to your to any of your equations and substitute the y into the equation and solve for x. So let's just use the first equation here. So you have 4x plus 30y is equals to 167.5. But now we know the value of y, so we can substitute that to give us 4x, so it has to be plus 30 multiplied by 2.25 is equals to 167.5. So 4x is equal plus, so 30 times 2.25 is equals to 67.5 is equals to 167.50. And then you move this you take this to the other side of the equal sign, or could just subtract both sides, subtract 67 on both sides of the equal sign. This would cancel this. 4x is equals to 167.5 minus 67.5 is equals to 100. Divide both sides by 4, divide both sides by 4. X is equals to 25, right? So then the last question tells us to calculate the total cost of hiring 16 tables and 124 chairs. So the cost of hiring 16 tables, you have 16, and then you have to use your previous answer, u of x, which is 25, right, plus the cost of 124 chairs, and then the unit cost is 2.25, which is equals to 16 multiplied by 25 plus 124 multiplied by 2.25, we get 679 Pula. That's your answer.